So that was we created 30 podcasts. TechCrunch helped, but we also had help from a bunch of publications, Black Enterprise, um, I forgot a bunch of other really awesome publications because we didn't want to just be in the mainstream tech. We wanted to be in the hood. We wanted to be like in the 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 platforms that people are actually going to read, the local news, like everything, so people can understand that this is us. This is for us by us, like Damon John says, for us by us, right? Fubu. So that's what we wanted to do early. Um, when it comes to consistency, um, you know, that's the hardest part of anything. We read a lot of the stats that talked about the importance of going through, um, making sure that like pod, podcasts have. There's not a lot of podcasts that have gone about above 5,000 listeners. So in order to do that, you have to keep dropping episodes. You have to keep
Yep.
dropping episodes.
Right.
And so we just kept that in our head and kept doing it. Like after running Career Combo, it's been a little harder to keep up with the podcast dropping, but we're going to be doing more of that soon.
Yep.
But in general, um, it's as a musician who worked in the music industry for a long time. Um, I understand the importance of dropping music, especially being in Atlanta, where mixtapes are a very big thing,
Yep.
and you're always dropping content.
Well, it's a concept of consistency, right? Like in like example, going to the gym, like if it's the habit of just going every day. Like even if you don't push it 100%, you still see the results. It's like just doing it every day. It just becomes a habit, and at one point you see that transition. But at the same time, like what like, so publications being one, was that like the major 80/20, like the 80% of the growth, and that we were doubling down on that, or was it like some other kind of channel that was?
That's all it is, man.
Wow.
Like at the end of the day, like it doesn't have to be a perfect piece of content,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It just has to be content, and then when you drop the content, you just want to get slightly better every time,
Yep. Kind of.
even if it's 0.5% better. Like
Yep.
literally, that's all it is, and it doesn't even have to be a crazy intense cadence. It doesn't have to be the two to three podcasts a week. It
Yep.
could be a podcast every month. It
Yep.
could be a podcast every 3 months,
Yep.
right? Like whatever. It's kind of like running. I'm kind of currently watching this running anime called Run with the Wind,
Hmm.
and something that it talks about is like first you want to figure out what the distance feels like with your body, right? But something else that it talks about is running at a pace that you could keep up for a very long time, right? So when you're thinking about consistency and like long distance running or cross country running or whatever, any type of thing, let's just keep it focused on content. Pick a pace that you can maintain consistently
Right.
for a very long time
Right.
without fail.
Right.
Without fail. That's the key. And then just hold. If you do that, you will win. Because
Makes
most
sense.
people don't stay
They
consistent.
give up. Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's a concept of like I remember Gary Vee talked about this where he was talking about Justin Bieber and he was saying how at the end of the day you keep on putting it. You only need one hit, and as soon as you get that one hit, like it's game on, right? It changes everything.
And
Um,
I learned that from Atlanta. Like a lot of the artists that before Atlanta was a thing or before like mixtapes were a thing, um, they would just focus on putting together the best album, which at the end of the day is very important. And they'll drop an album like maybe every, I don't know, every other year, every 5 years, every 10 years,
right.
right? And then just like milk that,
Yeah.
which is good. But then you have, you know, artists like Lil Wayne,
Yeah.
right? You have artists like Future,
Yeah.
like
Who are
artists
just
like
dropping
Two
all the
Chain,
time. Yeah.
like you got DJ Drama, you
Yeah.
got the affiliates, you got all these people that are just like dropping content constantly.
Yep.
But most of those records aren't hits,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But some of them will be hits,
Yep.
and it's just about making like one of my good friends, Two Chain's managers, former Two Chain's manager, his name's Charlie Jabali. He's now calls himself Charlie Rocket. He will say music is alive, right? You can't let it just like sit on a shelf and die. You have to put it out there. So whatever
Yep.
you create, just put it out there and let it live. Like whatever that life is, just put it out there. And there's some worlds where that's debatable.
Yeah.
In some contexts where that's debatable, whether you're going to ship something fast or slow. But in general, at least for us, when it comes to content, we don't overthink it. We just turn the mic on and we go in.
Interesting. I love that, man. That's cool. That's